NES has a reputation for being the home of some of the most ridiculous, downright crazy hard games ever produced. Since the mid-80s, gamers have been pitting themselves against the roughest, toughest, and downright worst that 8-bit has to offer. I mean, there's a reason why the term NES hard exists.
Some super quick guidelines for this list. 1, we're talking about NES games here, not Famicom. No Japanese Mario 2, and no Takeshi's Castle. Number 2, these games have to actually have an ending for them to count, so none of those never-ending puzzle games like Tetris. And 3, the game can't be difficult just because of sucky controls.
And finally, if you see only the first level of these games and you're wondering why, well, you know why. Because they're hard. Hey, I'm Stuttering Craig.
And I'm Nervous Nick.
For ScrewAttack's Top 10 Hardest NES Games.
Number 10.
Oh yeah, Contra. I mean, this game is one of the best games in the NES library. But it's not on our list because when Konami busted out the sequel, it came back even harder than the first.
It gets stupidly hard trying to dodge everything, but just like the first game, the spreader is an absolute godsend.
Now, one of the reasons why Super C may be considered more difficult is mostly because it wasn't played as much. And besides, if you're down with old school games, the original Contra isn't really that hard because you've played it so many times.
Number 9.
Ah, yes. Much maligned because of its just retarded jumps, the original TMNT is well warranted at this spot.
Look at this. Look at this. How are you supposed to make it through here without getting hit? This is borderline cheap.
See, that's where you change to Raph because we all know he sucks in this game.
TMNT probably would have made it higher on the list, but let's face it, as long as you've still got Donatello, you're golden.
Number 8.
And here is your curveball. Now, most of you probably haven't heard of Battle Kid because it's a new NES game that was released in 2009. Savak, the dude who made this beast, has created a labyrinth of pain. But in the Fortress of Peril, pain is pleasure.
A throwback to platforming games like Mega Man, Battle Kid is a test of skill and is heavily based on memorizing patterns. Many people have attempted it, but so far, the least amount of deaths that we've seen for a first-time player is 49. And that's just to the first boss.
Number 7.
If there was ever a game that defined NES hard, Ninja Gaiden is it. Now you may think you know this game, and you may even be able to breeze through the first couple of levels, but eventually, sometime, Ninja Gaiden will catch up to you, and it will kill you.
It feels like there's stuff just flying at you from all directions, and even though you have a life bar, you'll find that you fall into pits more often than not, causing you to die instantly. Stupid falcons.
Fucking falcons.
Number 6.
A brief anecdote. When I was about 6 years old, my dad took me to Funkoland to buy whatever game I chose. I don't know what appeal I saw in the box for Fester's Quest, but test playing it at the store literally gave me a headache.
This has to be one of the most tedious games in the NES library. I mean, you slowly walk around town shooting killer frogs in faces that give you power-ups. Yay! And your guns? Yeah, they're, pretty much useless there, buddy.
And if you get hit by one of those bugs, you go even slower. A decade and a half later, and I'm still glad that I chose Captain Skyhawk.
Number 5.
One life. All you get is one life. I hate this game.
Double Dragon 3 is clearly the most difficult game in the franchise, and even though you got spinning kicks and throws at your disposal, your best hope is just to pray that your spinning kick will work. But chances are it's not.
Look at this!
Oh, I get so much joy out of this. Double Dragon 3 borders very, very close on the control suck rule, but we're gonna let it slide simply because of how much rage Nick gets from it.
Number 4.
The Adventures of Bayou Billy.
Okay, this game, it's not even fun.
The Adventures of Bayou Billy is like 3 games in one. You've got a beat 'em up, a shooter, and a driving game. All of them suck.
Well, yeah, it does have some pretty cool music, but that pretty much is the only thing cool about getting your ass beat by the first group of enemies in the game. We did a test at the HQ, and the average lifespan in Bayou Billy is like 51 seconds. That's retarded.
Number 3.
Hooray! I made it through the graveyard, past the town, through the fires of hell, into the castle, and defeated the final boss on my last life. Sure glad I don't have to go through all that again. You have got to be frickin' kidding me.
Ghosts and Goblins, while one of the best games on the NES, is also one of the most aggravating, as yes, once you beat it, no, if you beat it, you have to play through the entire game again just to see this. That is dedication to your game right there.
Yes, all those jumps and all those zombies a second time. Screw that.
Number 2.
In a list all about difficult games, it's only inevitable for there to be a shmup somewhere, and yes, Silver Surfer is most definitely a shmup. Usually in shoot-em-ups your plane is fairly small and somewhat maneuverable, but let's examine Silver Surfer. The dude's surfboard is frickin' huge. How are you supposed to fit this through this while shooting these and avoiding those is beyond me.
While you can choose to play multiple levels Mega Man style, this is the screen you're probably going to be seeing more than not. The death screen. One hit and you're here. Silver Surfer brought to his knees and sobbing. This game's so difficult, we often did the same damn thing. Alright, let's hit the old 8-bit recap before we get to number 1. Number 10, Super Seed.
Number 9, Ninja Turtles.
Number 8, Battle Kid.
Number 7, Ninja Gaiden.
Number 6, Fester's Quest.
Number 5, Double Dragon 3.
Number 4, Adventure the Baby.
Number 3, Ghosts and Goblins.
And number 2, fucking Silver Surfer, man.
It's number 1.
Look, I don't care what anybody says. It is not humanly possible to beat Battletoads without cheating. It's just not. I've gotten to the final boss one time in my entire life, and it took me weeks just to get there. Then I died before I could figure out what I was supposed to do.
The general rule is that playing games with your buddies makes them more fun. And then there's Battletoads. With 2 players, you'll just end up hitting each other half the time.
Okay, this is just ridiculous. Here's the deal. The first person that can film you and a buddy beating Battletoads in 2-player mode on your NES, none of that emulator stuff and no tool-assisted runs, and then upload it to ScrewAttack.com, I will give you one of every DVD ScrewAttack offers for absolutely free. All you gotta do is upload it before our next top 10 is released. I'm sorry, I just don't think it's possible. By all means, prove me wrong, but Battletoads on the NES, by far the hardest NES game ever.